Bites by Night is an asymmetrical horror game where you just survive 8v1 against the killer and survivor. 8 survivors and 1 killer. But how good are the survivors? Well, today we'll be ranking them from worst to best. Let's get into the video. But before we start, please like and subscribe. Okay, back to the video. But first, we need to set some ground rules. So first of all, we are going to be imagining that the player that is playing the survivor is good at the game and they are facing against a good killer. And second of all, this will not be biased. Trust me, this is not biased. I basically like every survivor equally. And third, we will be thinking as the survivor, they're good, but not like pro level. They know how to use the character, but not like competitive level. Alright, let's get into the tier list. At number 4 in the tier list, we have the fighter class. The fighter class is a character that can allow you to parry and stun the killer. At one charge, you will be able to stun the killer for 3 seconds. With 2 charges, you will be able to stun the killer and give them blindness and the deafness. But at 3 charges, you'll give them blindness, deafness, and confusion. But however, if you have 0 charges, you cannot stun the killer. It'll literally not let you lose your ability. Next to the other ability, parry. You start off with a 1 parry charge, and every time you parry, you'll be invincible and stun the killer for 2 seconds. Fighter can block anything like Strength Shot's charge, Mimic's grab, Ennard's grab. Well, this survivor is pretty good, but remember, the killer is a good killer, and the player who is playing fighter is good. A good killer will try to juke out the attacks of the fighter. This will most likely never let you get a parry. Also, fighter is extremely situational at helping his team. His stun is great, but you need to get charges to consistently use the stun ability. It's really hard to use like a parry and chase because you don't have hit priority. You can block, but I think every killer has like a piercing attack. I think all their M1 pierces through survivor, so he's basically useless at body blocking. Maybe you can you can still do the parry, but it's just they'll still take the damage. But surprisingly, I think fighter is better at solo play than actually team play. Hear me out. His stun can be extremely clutch, and his parry also can be clutch. However, his self-sustain is not nearly as good as other survivors, but I think he's still a really reliable source of solo play. However, there is a better solo play character, which I will be talking about later. However, this is the end of fighter. Now we're going to move on to number 3 on the tier list. At number 3, we have the medic class. The medic class is most likely... The medic class is a support character that allows them to heal their team and themselves. You have to be in place to do the heal and even yourself heal. Now, this is a must-have on the team. A healer in any asymmetrical game is extremely strong. However, they do have a few downsides. They have 90 max health. Both of their abilities have a really long wind-up. And they are pretty vulnerable, having the worst self-sustain in the game. And do not leave this character in LMS. If you do, you are going to get folded. Actually, I'm lying because this game is survivor side of that shit. Okay, but seriously, medic is the worst solo character. Do not leave this character in LMS. They will most likely get folded. However, their self-heal and heal are so strong, I couldn't put them at last place. Their heal can be extremely clutch to other survivors and themselves. Not to mention their overheal, which is a complete savior at sometimes. We really don't have nothing to say about the medic because they're a pretty basic character. Alright, at number 2, we have Customer! Okay, so originally making this video, I was going to put Customer at number 1. But that's kind of stupid because Security Guard basically is Security Guard is a worse solo character, but he's way better at helping the team. So here we are, Customer at number 2. Customer is an extremely great solo character. One of the best solo characters, the best solo character in the game. Extremely good sustain with his pizza and Bloxy Cola. Being able to get away from almost anything. This character's amazing self-sustain allows him to be an absolute menace. Do not leave this character in LMS or you're gonna get folded immediately. However, thinking of this character has a few drawbacks. They have no way to help the team. Although their abilities are incredibly good for themselves, they have nothing to help the team, and allowing them to be incredibly selfish. However, this doesn't have a negative effect, however, because you can just speedrun generators, basically cutting down the time in half. However, at number 1, our glorious and cute king, we have Security Guard. At number 1, we have Security Guard. This character is so overly overpowered, it's genuinely not even funny anymore. This character can serve as a support, stunner, and even survivalist. This character's taser allows it to stun and stall out chases for its teammate and even itself. However, taser and chase is not really good for yourself if you're getting chased. But however, taser when somebody else is getting chased and max charge, the killer is gonna lose the game, genuinely. If you do it like successfully and if you're consistent with taser, the killer is genuinely deep fried. And his Cam's ability, absolutely amazing. It literally makes you get wall hacks. Basically, you can literally see anything across the map. You can literally press the killer to make it highlighted for the whole team and highlight even generators. The only problem is you have to do good positioning and you need to be out of chase. However, an extremely versatile ability. Well, that wraps it up for today. However, I'm still not done yet because I will be going over the best counters for killers. For example, Customer is the best counter against Springtrap, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's get into it. But actually, Customer is probably the best bet against Springtrap. His abilities is more like leaning towards a rushdown trap vibes. You can basically like tank the traps, and then you can just heal yourself afterwards. But it might be risky. Just be careful of that. Also, his Cole ability lets him easily get away from charge, scream. Customer is basically the counter to Springtrap. However, whoever counters the Mimic, it might be a little surprising. I think in speed mode, Medic counters Mimic, because in speed mode, Mimic just really wants chip damage instead of like real damage, like chipping down the survivor's health. And Medic counters chip damage like really well. But in strength mode, every survivor in the game, so Mimic in strength mode is buns. However, in stealth mode, whoever is the best counter is up to you guys. I haven't seen nobody, I actually don't know about stealth mode because stealth mode is the most played, but I just don't know how to counter it really. My best bet how to counter it is fighter, because after you get thrown and after his stun ability up the ground comes, you can just basically stun. So, and you can parry grab. However, in whoever counters Ennard is Security Guard. Security Guard counters basically every killer really well, but I wanted to keep it I just want to make it Security Guard every time. But Security Guard counters Ennard really well because stun. He has a 0.1 second stun, and if you could just constantly interrupt Ennard because his ability has really long winds up. So this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Now, watch these videos that YouTube recommends to you guys. Okay, guys. See you guys.